Three new 8K 360 degrees camera has dropped in 2025, and I tested two of them back to back this week in a bunch of different scenarios that align with what I do as a cycling content creator and as a dad. Road rides, mountain bikes, low light, audio testing, racing on a bike, everything that I use for content creation. So which one should you buy in 2025? Let's figure it out into this in-depth video about the Insta360 X5 against the DJI Osmo 360. Hey guys, my name is Charles and welcome back to my cycling YouTube channel. And I've been making outdoor sports content for over a decade now, from GoPro Hero 2 to mirrorless cameras, drones. I've seen all the evolution of action cams over the decade, from shaky footage to fully cinematic storytelling tools. And today we're comparing two of my most favorite cameras on the market. We'll go through the specs, ergonomics, image quality, stabilization, audio, low light, with real footage shot in the fields. By the end of this video, you'll know which camera fits better your workflow, which one's better for your needs, so you can make this educated decision on which brand you should go for. Because if you're watching this video, you're looking for a 360 camera. On paper, both cameras are 8K 360 degrees camera, but that doesn't tell the full story. DJI Osmo 360 shoots up to 8K at 50 FPS, frames per second, records in 10-bit D-Log. This is huge if you know a little bit about cameras. It also supports 4K up to 120 FPS for slow motion and uses the same battery as the Osmo Action 5 Pro, so everything is cross-compatible. The Insta360 X5 tops out at 8K 30 FPS. It has this new pure video mode with AI noise reduction, and my favorite feature, the replaceable lenses. You can actually swap your damaged lenses yourself for 30 bucks. On the other hand, you have to send back the Osmo 360 to DJI for a lens replacement, so that will take your camera away for a couple of weeks. Let's start real-world usability, because specs don't matter if the camera's a pain to use. So both feel solid and well built. The DJI Osmo 360 is a little chunky boy, but the ergonomics are more refined, especially with the touchscreen. It feels more snappy, and I do prefer the horizontal view. The camera sits well on counters and slightly uneven surface, so you don't always need a tripod. Jumping in to say that the Osmo feels better on the chest strap because all of the weight is more centered and it's a bit closer to the anchor point. As the X5, it's longer, so all the weight is towards the top of it. It makes the chest strap a bit less comfortable. But on the other hand, when it comes to mounting it onto the bike, well, the X5 has some extra length, so give a better angle to capture yourself and what's in front of you. But I've solved this length issue with the quick release that I put just between the camera and the mount. I love that DJI included internal storage. You can literally forget your micro SD card transferring files into your computer and still film an entire day of riding. No stress, it's just peace of mind. The X5 goes a different route with the design. It's more like a tower, and I feel it's more difficult to balance on a counter or on the ground. There's always this risk of having the camera falling if you don't use any tripod or mount. Swear to God, that was an accident. This is not a joke. I think I scratched the lens with doing this test shot. No way. Plus, it has round corners, make it unstable on each side, so it kind of make me nervous. Like, I don't want to put the lens on the counter, and it's awkward to have the camera not being able to hold itself. As for durability, both are waterproof, dustproof, sweatproof, and like they have very similar design, very similar build quality. All the latches open almost the same way. For me, they are exactly the same in terms of build quality. The most important differentiator between the two cameras is the sensor size. DJI was able to fit their brand new 1-inch 360 degrees imaging sensor into the Osmo 360, while the X5 is running a 1/1.28-inch sensor. This bigger sensor of the Osmo will have a significant impact on the upcoming test footage. Let's now talk image quality, because that's where things get interesting. Both cameras shoot at 8K, but the sensor performance is quite different. DJI's 10-bit D-Log profile capture more dynamic range, especially in bright daylight with deep shadows, like under trees or when riding out of sunlight. De la pound. Ooh la la. De la pound. Ooh la la. Colors on the Osmo 360 looks flatter at first if you activate the Pro mode, which puts the file as a D-Log, because it's meant for color grading. Once you add contrast, saturation, you put the conversion LUTs, it makes everything more cinematic. It offers you a better or a neutral image. The Insta360 on the other hand deliver punchier, contrasty footage straight out of the camera, which is great for social posts and quick edits from your phone. And there is this iLog option, but I do believe, and I'm not the only one to think about it, it's not there yet. The colors are just not as good as DJI. So just by looking at the 8K footage of both cameras, you can tell that DJI retains a touch more texture and clarity, especially into those road surfaces, tree leaves, and jersey fabrics. If you zoom in a lot, that's where you're going to see a big difference even more. So for pros who grade and edits on the computer with Adobe Premiere or DaVinci Resolve, DJI wins hands down. But for creators who edit straight from the mobile app, Insta360 is still easier, their app is more mature, and it offers a lot of handy features. All right, stabilization, the make or break for cycling footage. Both are incredible. I mounted each camera on my stem throughout this bad pavement road. The Osmo during my local duathlon and the X5 a few days later at the same time of the day for exact same lighting. But in fast, bumpy section, you can tell that the DJI is just smoothed out better. When I reviewed the clips side by side, the DJI looked more natural, less digital, less floaty. So for high speed, forward motion, DJI is again has the edge. I'm not a big fan of slow motion, I rarely use them. But if you put the footage side by side, I believe they are quite similar. I'll let you judge which one you prefer. So the Osmo can shoot 50 FPS at 8K, and what's great about that number that they achieve is every time you want to film something a bit more cinematic using those bigger cinema cameras, you're most likely going to shoot in 24 frames per second. So that being said, having that 50 will mean I'll be able to slow down the footage to 50%, having that smooth cinematic 360 degrees footage that match cinematic cameras as well. So that's a big plus. Keeping that high resolution, more FPS is better for that use case. So audio is where DJI's ecosystem really shines. Insta360 improved the X5 built-in microphone, but it sounds thinner.
Est-ce que tu veux qu'on fasse la pomme track?
Yeah.
Est-ce que tu veux qu'on fasse la pomme track?
Yeah.
Tu vas lécher?
That, that, that.
Le toutou? Tu vas lécher? Le
That,
toutou?
that, that.
Le toutou? Toutou?
The internal mic sounds great, but the magic happens when you pair it with the DJI mic. It connects instantly, records backup tracks, and you can control audio levels straight from the camera. I can use the same microphone for my Pocket 3, Action 5, Osmo 360, and my Sony FX3 using their receiver. So one microphone that connects to all my cameras that I use on a daily basis just make my life way easier. Now let's talk about low light. I've tested both during blue hour around my backyard sauna. And here's where the sensor and color pipeline really matters. DJI's image looks cleaner with smoother gradient and less blotchy noise in the shadows. It holds color temperature better, skin tone stays warm, no green or magenta. Insta360's pure video mode is impressive, especially for something done entirely in the software. It brightens darkened area well, but sometimes add that plastic texture, ghosting there when there's some movement. So if you film at night under street lights or even just indoors where there's not much light, DJI's image will grade better and will look more natural. Let's talk about workflow because editing 360 footage can make or break your patience. Insta360's app is super polished. It's optimized for quick reframing, AI tracking, keyframes, and even auto edits straight from your phone. DJI's app is simpler. You don't get as many creative reframing tools, but the files you get are cleaner and needs less correction. So here's a head-to-head testing of the mobile app, and despite the fact that the DJI app have less features, for me, the way that I use it with manual reframing and keyframing, it took me the exact amount of time to just play around with the camera, pointing it forward, pointing it backwards, just changing the orientation. It was super easy using both apps. And what's even more surprising is the export time for both in 4K, 50 megabytes. It took the exact amount of time for both software to get the files into my library. So we can definitely tell that DJI is catching up on Insta360 software. Over the last month, I've been using the Osmo 360 for real commercial work because I can grade the footage to match my Sony FX3 without the client noticing. The workflow is a bit slower, it's a little bit more time to get the footage ready to use, but the result's better and which works best for me. So for athletes that just edit from their phone, I would believe that the Insta360 workflow is faster and easier. So the choice of both camera depends on your goal. Either you're looking for speed or looking for flexibility. All right, let's wrap it up with all the pros and cons. So the Osmo 360 pros, excellent in low light and has incredible dynamic range, 10-bit D-Log color, 105 gigabytes of internal storage, 8K 50 FPS, 4K 120 slow motion, great ecosystem with the mics and the Action 5 batteries. It's more affordable than the X5 at the moment of filming this video in Canada. And the cons, it's a new platform, limited accessories at launch, software is good enough, but could have more feature, will have more feature down the road. Another con is the non-replaceable lenses. So if you're traveling overseas and you break the lens, well, you would need to be back home, send the camera over for a few weeks, wait for it again. So, all right, all the pros of the X5. Replaceable lenses, of course. It has a more mature creative suite for social content. It's a lightweight and fun use. It's easier to get your footage out there. It has great AI tools for auto tracking and reframing, but personally, I never use those tools. I love to do all that reframing myself on the computer, but in both computer software are quite equivalent, I have to say. So the cons, 8K limited to 30 FPS, less dynamic range, and pure video mode can look artificial in low light scenes. So which one should you buy? I believe that if you're a social first creator, you shoot reels, quick edit from your phone. The X5 is probably a better tool for you because it is just an easier tool to use because of their more advanced app. But if you care most about professional image quality, color depth, and working inside the DJI ecosystem, the Osmo 360 is simply a better all-arounder camera here in late 2025. That's the one I would grab for more serious projects. Thanks for watching, guys. If this video helped you, drop a like and subscribe if you aren't already, and let me know in the comments down below which one you're thinking of going for.